on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mattel DC Superhero Girls Poison Ivy. Now here we do have Poison Ivy in the packaging. You can see she does include some vines, and I'm going to guess that they're talking about the vines on her arm, because I don't see any other vines in the packaging that look like they're removable. But anyway, here we have Poison Ivy in the box. You can see a little Poison Ivy leaf right here. But really nice packaging. I really do like it. I'm going to try to find a way that I don't destroy this packaging because it looks really nice. On the back we have a little read-up of the DC Superhero Girls, as well as that same image of Poison Ivy on the back. We do have a little read-up. It says, Poison Ivy, aka Ivy, is a genius when it comes to the biology of plants. Being shy and far more comfortable with plants than people, Ivy spends most of her time in the superhero high greenhouse. While she has the power to control plants, they sometimes get out of hand. Her superpowers include genius-level intellect and summons and controls plants. Other figures in this line include Wonder Woman, Supergirl, Batgirl, Harley Quinn, and Bumblebee. Really happy I found this girl, so what I'm going to do now is take a little break, get her opened up, and then we'll go on to the rest of the review. So sit tight, everyone. And so here we have Poison Ivy posed and out of the packaging, and right off the bat I'm going to say probably my least favorite of the DC Superhero Girls line. And it's just a lot of things that should have been done better that this figure just doesn't do well. And like I said, I'll get more into that in a little bit, but first let's get a good 360 of her. I'm not saying that the design of the figure is bad, I'm just saying that there's things that this figure does right, and there's a lot that it does wrong. And like I said, I'll get more into that in a little bit, but overall, really nice figure. Could be better, that's all I'm saying. She does come with one accessory, and that is her vines. And let's actually zoom in on the vines, because they are a really small accessory. Now, they're not the best vines in the world, and they are a really soft plastic. In fact, they don't even hold their shape really well, and it's really hard to get it. Well, if you pose it like that, it looks pretty decent, but having it out, you really do run the risk of it just sliding on and off. And it does fit both arms. I just kind of wish that this was more like a clip-on so that it wouldn't move as much, and that she came with more than just one, because it's Poison Ivy. She controls all plants, and just giving her one vine is kind of just like, I don't know, I just don't like the idea of her just getting one vine. But moving that off to the side, so we can look at Poison Ivy right here, who's a really nice looking figure. However, it just doesn't translate well, and I'll explain that more in a little bit, especially when we get onto her articulation. But like I said, I'm not a fan of this design. Like, I've enjoyed the way they've stylized all the other characters, but this one, I just can't get behind Poison Ivy's design. Now let's actually zoom in on her face. I do like the fact that they gave her a flesh tone and that she's not green. That I don't know how parents or children would react if Poison Ivy was green. You can see she does have some vines in her hair. They're painted really nicely. Face is really well done. And then she is wearing a blouse, a light green blouse I might add, with a little rose right here. The belt is a darker green. She is wearing pants that end just below the knee, as well as some vines going around her leg. Kind of wish these vines were removable too. I don't know, I got spoiled by the DC Universe Classics version. And then her shoes, which you can see have a bit of paint blemishes on them. And it's not the cleanest application either. You can see on both feet there's like some defects. But that's quality control. It has nothing to do with the figure itself. But anyway, like I said, there's just some things that this figure does wrong, and the accessory, for one, is one thing they did wrong. Another thing is her blouse. It is a softer plastic, which is pretty good. However, it's thickest right in the front. Like, you can see it's really thin right here in the back, but then when you get to the front, it's like layered thick. So it really doesn't move well, and you can't really get her legs posed without them like getting shot back down because of how thick it is right here in the front. Like I said, it's a really bad design. They should have just made this thinner all the way around, because, you know, it doesn't do much good having it thick, especially in the part that the legs move forward in the most. And I just don't know why they did that. And then her arms are also painted flesh tone, which looks okay. It's not bleeding through. It looks decent enough. And then, like I said, her feet are molded green with flesh-colored plastic, and that doesn't look as good as this, only because of how dark that green plastic is. But anyway, moving on to her articulation, she does have a bulge in her head. She can look down and up really well. She probably has some of the best movement in the head versus any of the other girls. You can see she can tilt her head pretty far, up and down, left and right. No problems, especially during a full 360. Her hair does not hinder the articulation. However, in just messing with it the way I did, I scratched the paint on her neck. So be aware that moving your head, you run the risk of scratching the paint. I don't know what Mattel was going with this paint, but it's like really thin, and just that little thing scraped it, so be aware of that. Arms on the ball joint go pretty far out. Do a full 360. Oh, they are hindered a little by her hair, and once again, I would not be rubbing her biceps along the hair too much because it might scrape the paint off. She has a single joint in the elbow, or a single joint in the elbow, swivels at the elbow, swivels at the wrist, and it's the same for both arms. Nothing in the torso, and no waist articulation, which is I think they kind of missed the mark right here. They could have hidden a waist swivel here, but she doesn't have a waist swivel. Legs can go forward and back, but once again, you have to really fight with how thick the skirt is, or her blouse is in the front. And she does have the same range, but once again, the blouse is really thick right here, and it's thinnest right here in the back, and that has the most give, so be aware of that. She is single jointed in the knee, swivels at the knee, and swivels at the foot. No ankle articulation, no ankle hinge, unfortunately. But that's Poison Ivy for you, so what I'm going to do now is take a little break, get a pose for my final thoughts, and we'll wrap up this review, so sit tight, everyone. And so here we have Poison Ivy posed for my final thoughts. Overall, a pretty okay figure. I kind of wish that she came with more vines. Like, I know they only gave most of these girls one accessory, with the exception of Batgirl, who got two. Poison Ivy could have stemmed from... see what I did there? Could have stemmed from getting more than one vine. Maybe give us a vine with a wire tie in it, just to give us posing options. That would have been nice. But unfortunately, we just get this really flimsy vine that pops off really easy. It doesn't really attach too well. If you're looking for the DC Superhero Girls line, they are available at Target. Target is the only retail that the DC Superhero Girls line can be found. So if you're looking for them, Target is your best bet. And being 6-inch figures, these girls each are about $10 each, which is a steal for 6-inch figures, seeing as how most 6-inch figures are costing you $21. I know there are some places that charge like $25, so $10 is an absolute steal, especially getting this much articulation out of them. Like I said, she's not my favorite, but I do like Poison Ivy, and I have enjoyed this line. I really hope Mattel does continue with this line, giving us more characters like Star Sapphire, Cheetah, even Katana. Katana is a must-have. But if you can find this figure, I really recommend you take a look at them, especially if you're collecting the whole line as I did. You're going to want to have all of them to complete the set. I dropped down and paid $60 for all of them. But like I said, if you enjoy this line, pick them up. I know it's an action figure line aimed at girls, but I, for one, don't believe that action figures should be aimed towards boys or girls. They're toys. Children should play with toys. If your kid likes it, go ahead and pick it up for them. If you like it, pick it up. But anyway, I'm King Dragons 5000 saying don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, tell me what you think of Poison Ivy. Don't forget to check out all my other DC Superhero Girls figures and all my other action figure reviews. And don't forget to keep up with my channel. I do post videos very frequently, so if there's something you like or want me to review, let me know down in the comments and I'll see if I can find a place for it in my collection. And this is King Dragons 5000 saying thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. My dream